Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be talking today about cult. Are you a member of a cult, not even knowing it, or you are because you really think that the message of the cult appeals to you and you agree with it, so you willingly participate in it? Well, there have been many cults throughout the history, some small, some large, and they are all based on the idea that the grandmaster who creates this cult has a vision. He or she says, "I have a better vision, a version of your existence. I can offer you to live better, and this is what I'm giving you. Just follow me, and your life will change for better." And there's always people that will become members, and most of us won't. So now, over the last decade, we've been living in this crazy world where this biggest cult of all time has been around, and it has become so big, perhaps in over 100 million members by now worldwide, that it's threatening the life of what we have created on Earth. It's threatening our existence by bringing its doctrine to demolish everything that we have created. So how is it possible that perhaps over 100 million people worldwide have fallen for this trap or willingly joined, where billions of us see plain and clear that this is totally made up, that it is total BS? How is it possible that this is happening? Well, let's dive deep into the roots of a cult. There have been many cults preying on human mind, promising certain things. Many of them were for the financial reason, and I believe the one that we have been against right now, the biggest one, the main goal behind it is the financial goal. But what makes people fall for this, and what makes people join this willingly? I think the answer lies in the motto that I've been communicating on this channel. It is about having emotional side that is not functioning well, that is distracted, that is confused, that is not developed. All of us have emotional side and intellectual side. Emotional side is a little bit more vulnerable because we are born with certain genes. We carry genes from previous generations that dictate the state of our emotional side, and then our upbringing, our experience when we are children and teenagers, sometimes are troubling. And few of us go through some kind of self-reflection therapy to address that issue, and then we go into a busy life of working, making money, which often makes it much worse. So what happens is our mind oftentimes doesn't work in a healthy way, processing the reality as it should. So this particular call that I'm talking about is actually taking advantage of our mind confusion. It is preying on it. the tools that the Grandmaster is using to recruit the members to this worldwide cult is misinformation. And the way it works is spread the lies. And some of them are totally idiotic, to the point that a 10-year-old can start questioning, are you serious? But this is how it works. Spread the lies, repeat the lies several times a day, every single day, year after year. Spread the lies and throw absurd sentences about things or people that you are against. Why? Well, because in a society where you have millions of people with emotional troubles, whether they have emotional side confused, limited, or disturbed, or whatever the version is, they are often or most likely not able to look at themselves and make a rational decision of self-critique and find some flaws and work on them. They are not able to do that. So if someone comes along who's playing the role of this grandmaster, who has a solution for your life that tells you that your life is bad because of this, this, and that person spells out for you the reasons, and generally people responsible, or a group of people responsible for your misfortune. So people who are emotionally vulnerable, they just eat it up. They just take it, yeah, because it's so much easier to use that guilt that you throw at others than stand in front of the mirror and self-reflect. For example, if you have a decent job and you are able to make a living, but your financial habits are terrible, and you spend a lot more, month after month, you go into debt more and more. Instead of stopping yourself, sitting down, getting a piece of paper, analyzing what do you actually spend your money on, and criticizing yourself and changing your habits, it's better to point a finger at people around you, like, they are the bad ones, because I don't make enough. I should be entitled to this kind of living, and because people that I know have been living this way. So if someone tells you, yeah, you're right, yeah, your life is bad because these people around you are the guilty ones. They make you go through this suffering. They are the reasons behind your misfortune. So it's so much easier for those people, because when you have healthy emotional side, you can rationally look at yourself, analyze, and self-reflect, and make changes. Maybe cut $1,000, $2,000 out of your monthly expenses on stupid things that you shouldn't be spending money on, and then you can make a living, and maybe even decent living, and maybe a good living. But it takes guts, and most people are not able to do it. So this grand cult master came along, and he or she is using the old tricks of misinformation, throwing lies, ridiculous lies, at these people who eat them up, because they need someone to be responsible for their misfortune. And another thing that this grandmaster is playing with, being the manipulator of the minds, is the emotions of hate. The grandmaster will create stories that will play with our emotional side. For example, that, oh, those people who are on the opposite side from you, they do such immoral crimes by inflicting harm on these certain groups. Those are all made up lies, but the reason why this works so well is because when you spill lies about, let's say, someone abusing children, it gets very deep into you. And when you are emotionally confused, you will not sit down and investigate from independent sources if this is true or not. You will listen to it and will create certain kind of emotion from you that I have to protect this. And when you hear that information from the Grandmaster being thrown at you several times a day, every single day, with time your mind stops processing and you just eat it up and believe every single word. And yeah, you believe that, oh, I am doing something incredible. I am protecting the children. Meanwhile, most, if not all, of those things have been made up to use your mind to lure you into this mindset that you are a part of something big, good for humanity, even though the Grandmaster is throwing terrible lies. And the saddest thing is that the Grandmaster may be doing those things actually, himself or herself. But the members don't question. And so, how is it possible that this keeps going? Because we have millions of people with very vulnerable state of mind that are vulnerable for falling for those trap of misinformation. They are also sometimes not educated enough to understand the gravity of the things thrown at them or principles. There's a lot of misinformation about actual things, about society, about economy, this and that can be fact-checked on independent websites, but the members do not make that effort. They do not take the step to educate themselves if what they believe in, if there's numbers thrown at them, if they actually match reality. Why? Because the Grandmaster took control of their mind to play with the misinformation so deeply within their mind and emotions, creating horror stories in their mind about people on the other side so deeply they will not make any effort to judge fairly if this information is true or not. They will start believing that their life mission is to stand for this because they are standing for the best thing, for the grandest thing of all. Meanwhile, they are played like 7-year-olds. If you want that toy and the parents are playing a game sometimes, they're delaying getting you that toy. So why is it all happening also that people so deeply emotionally get involved? If you have been growing up in a household where you had some kind of trauma with physical abuse, mental abuse, or a household who was driven heavily on hatred, you will have perfect combination of your mind confusion to eat up all those lies from the Grandmaster, because that Grandmaster preys on people like that. What's behind what's the main reason for that confusion? Why is the Grandmaster using that confusion? Because dividing society is the best way to control this society. when you play with emotions and you implement and you plant that seed of hate in someone's mind and make that person believe that that hate is for the righteous reason, that's it. You win. You control that person's mind. That at that point, the grandmaster can do any kind of crime, harm, and will always be looked at as innocent, because that grandmaster is a savior of society in a follower's mind. No matter what, they will not take any step. They will not take any step to investigate, educate themselves, or find the truth, because their mind is not allowing them to use intellectual side to do their work. That the thought of questioning if it's right or wrong or true or false is blocked in the mind. That those people are not able to take the healthy step. And unfortunately, because we have so many people emotionally confused, angry, carrying hate in their minds, that's why this decade-long cult has recruited millions of members worldwide. And this is really sad because, depending how vulnerable your mind is, how troubled your mind is processing reality, and how much of a need of finding guilt in another person instead of looking at yourself, how much of hate you have towards others because of your upbringing, your understanding, your family history, or your mental confusion. It becomes almost impossible, or totally impossible at a certain point, to stop these people and reverse the damage in their minds. Many of them, when they cross certain line of emotional confusion, it goes into a mental confusion, which in many cases is not reversible. And that's what the Grandmaster wants. The Grandmaster wants to control you, because you will select that Grandmaster when the time comes. And you will almost or completely give your life to the reasons, the dark reasons of the Grandmaster, because he played with your emotions so badly. There's also another aspect that this cult is using. We've been exposed to conspiracy theories, and there's a lot of people that instead of doing healthy activities, they spend time looking at screens and eating up conspiracy theories. At first, it may appear as an innocent thing because it's interesting, it's wild, it's wow things. But with time, when your brain is exposed to it so much, your brain starts distinguishing the difference between a reality and alternative reality that those things are throwing at you. And when you become emotionally involved, because the topics that you are involved with are so important, like for example child abuse, but if you've been eating up stories about made-up child abuse, you start hating the groups that are made responsible in those conspiracies for those. So you don't question anymore if this is true or not. You just elevate your hate towards them, and the deeper you go, the more distracted from reality, detached from reality you become. And there's many podcasters out there spelling out conspiracy theories on a daily basis, making millions out of it, because it's so interesting. Well, it's actually it's poison for your mind, and because if you just stop doing this and go outside and exercise, It will take some time to clear your mind, but you will see normal life. It is dark times, and I believe that especially men, we have responsibility to go after the truth. I think the many men have lost the meaning what it means to be a man. They've been doing everything incorrectly. If they've been exposed to the grandmaster, they live in alternative reality, because if you push around lies that the master creates, and you don't question, you don't educate yourself, and you allow that poison rhetoric to recreate your mental map of what's been happening in the world, that's not what the real man should stand for. You should stand for the truth, no matter what it is. But if the job also requires these days to educate yourself, if you know what the truth is. But you don't go to conspiracy websites or conspiracy podcasts to get the truth, because this is not the truth. You open your mind and you go to independent sources. You disconnect from digital media to clear your mind. It will take a long time. And then start the education, intellectual education, that will hopefully kick in emotional education, and that your mind will start seeing things the way it should. But unfortunately, it's hard. It requires balls, and many men these days have lost them. There's also a group of people that get a financial benefit from being in the cult, and that so to their financial benefit, it really makes sense for them to keep spelling those lies for the grandmaster, because they are employed, they make a good living out of it. Some may be scared of the grandmaster, so. But the point that I'm trying to make, this is the darkest times that we've been. This cult has committed heinous crimes that we know about, yet members keep a blind eye to, because they've been so emotionally manipulated that they reject everything that is said about the grandmaster. And it's sad, because the whole world pays the price. And even if we stopped this cult of lies and crime, it would take decades to repair emotional and mental damage that this cult has created on our society. But we have to do it. If you are a man, start being a man. Start acting like a man. Educate yourself. If you really know who you are following, seriously, like, this is not that difficult. Get your head out of the sandbox that the grandmaster created for you. Take a break from all the bullshit that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. Go to the nature, clear your head a little bit, and then educate yourself. Maybe you are standing for the grandest things that your grandmaster is telling you, but it's actually the opposite. Maybe you are protecting the biggest crimes ever created, just because your mind has been manipulated. You've been played like a 5-year-old, and most of the world knows it. But you refuse to do it because the grandmaster is so godly for you. So, real men, wake up. Wake up. Grow your balls. Educate yourself. Start living healthy. Cut the stupid conspiracy theories out of your life. and behave like a man. Stand behind people that should make a positive difference, not the phony grandmasters that occupy your mind for the worst reasons, with the worst vicious plan there is. So, man, wake up and become a man again.